You are the first West Point graduates of the Golden Age of America. This is the Golden Age. I promise. We are in a new age. This is the Golden Age. You are going to lead the Army to summits of greatness it has never reached before. Summits of greatness it has never reached before. Each of you is entering the officer corps at a defining moment in the Army's history. For at least 2 decades, political leaders have dragged our military into missions it was never meant to be. It was not meant to be. People would say, why are we doing this? Why are we wasting our time and money and souls in some cases? We sent our warriors on nation-building crusades to nations that wanted nothing to do with us, led by leaders that didn't have a clue in distant lands while abusing our soldiers with absurd ideological experiments here and at home. All of that has ended. You know that. All of that has ended. It ended strongly. They are not even allowed to think about it anymore. They subjected the armed forces to all manner of social projects and political causes while leaving our borders undefended and depleting our arsenals to fight in other countries' wars. We fought for other countries' borders, but not our own border. Now we do like we have never fought before. Under the Trump administration, those days are over. We are getting rid of the distractions and focusing our military on its core mission, crushing America's adversaries, killing America's enemies, and defending our great American flag like it has never been defended before. The job of the U.S. Armed Forces is not to host drag shows, to transform foreign cultures, but to spread democracy to everybody around the world at the point of a gun. The military's job is to dominate any foe and annihilate the threat to America anywhere, anytime, and any place. Except for Russia. A big part of that job is to be respected again. You are, as of right now, respected more than any army anywhere in the world. That is happening, and I can tell you, you are respected like nobody can believe. As president, I am laser focused on our core national interests. My preference will always be to make peace and seek partnership, even with countries where our differences may be profound. We are working on a lot of things right now. When I left office 4 years ago, we had no wars, no problems. We had nothing but success. We had the most incredible economy, the single greatest economy for a president in history. I think we will beat that this time by a lot, if you want to know the truth. We had something going on very special. If the United States or its allies are ever threatened or attacked, the Army will obliterate our opponents with overwhelming strength and debilitating force. That is why my administration has begun a colossal buildup of the United States Armed Forces. They build up like we have never had before. A build-up like we have never had before. Peace through strength. You know that term. I've used it a lot. As much as you want to fight, I would rather do it without having to fight. I just want to look at them and have them fold. That is happening. That is happening. I have approved a $1 trillion investment. And that will be the largest ever in the history of our country. We are buying you new airplanes, beautiful new planes, redesigned planes, brand new planes, totally stealth planes. I hope they are stealth. I'm sort of wondering, we shape a wing this way, they don't see the other when they see it. I'm not so sure. That is what they tell me. We have the best tanks anywhere in the world. We will start shipbuilding again. We used to build a ship a day. Now we don't build them anymore. We had a lot of people that did not know much about getting things built. That is all I have done in my life, build. We will have the best missiles, we already do, drones, and much more. Earlier this week, I think you will like this, I announced we are officially building all in America, made in America, designed in America. We are the only ones that could do it because we are the ones with the great technology. We are building the Golden Dome missile defense shield to protect our homeland and protect West Point from attack. It will be completed before I leave office. You would not think this, but our enemies are very unhappy about it. We've been hearing and reading, why are they doing that? Why? Because we want to be around for a very long time. That is why we are doing it. We are restoring the fundamental principle that a central purpose of our military is to protect our own borders from invasion. Our country was invaded for the last 4 years. They have allowed people to come into our country that should not be here. Criminals walk in. No vetting, no check-in, no nothing. Where are they coming from? They were taking people out of prisons, taking gang members, taking the mentally insane and allowing them to come in. We are getting them out of our country. We have no choice. We are bringing them back where they came from. No choice. It is not easy. It is not easy. But hopefully the courts will allow us to continue. We have the greatest election victory. This was November 5th. We won the popular vote by millions of votes. We won all 7 swing states, 2,750 districts against 505, 2,750 against 505. We had a great mandate, and it gives us the right to do what we want to do to make our country great again. That is what we are going to do. On day 1, I deployed our military to this on the border. Since that day, we reduced the number of illegal border crossings where they used to be hundreds of thousands of people coming into our country a day. We had nobody come in the last week and a half. We were at 99.99%, 99.999%. Think of that. That was with the help of our military. We had 1 person come in. 1. You know why? He got very sick. We brought him through to have them brought to a hospital. 1 person. For that, please don't hold me responsible, but that's okay. They did the right thing. Gone are the days where defending every nation but our own was the primary thought. We are putting America first. We have to put America first. We have to rebuild and defend our nation. Very shortly, you will see a nation better than it's ever been. You will see that with the trade. The years we have been ripped off by every nation in the world on trade. We have been ripped off to the NATO level, at the NATO level, like no country has ever been ripped off. They don't rip us off anymore. They are not going to rip us off anymore. You have to watch what we are doing on trade. I know it is not your primary thing, but it's quite important in all fairness. Watch. You will see what's going on. You will read about it in the last few days. We are making deals with other nations that were nobody thought it would be possible. The reason is very simple. They respect us again. They are respecting our country again. That is what you want. In everything we do, we are bringing common sense back to America. It is all about common sense. You can say we are liberal, conservative. The new word is progressive. They don't like using the word liberal anymore. That is why I call them liberal. Whatever you are, you have to have common sense. In general, most of it is common sense when you get down to it. We have a lot of people with a lot of very smart people, but they have to have common sense. We have liberated our troops from divisive and demeaning political trainings. There will be no more critical race theory or transgender for everybody forced onto the brave men and women in uniform, or on anybody else for that matter in this country. We will not have men playing in women's sports if that is okay. I would not want to have to tackle Bryson as a man. I don't think a lot of women want to tackle him. I don't think so. How crazy is it? Men playing in women's sports. How crazy is it? So ridiculous, so demeaning to women, and it's over. That is over. We ended it. Promotions and appointments will not be based on politics or identity. They will be based on merit. We won that case in the Supreme Court of the United States. We are allowed to go back to a system of merit. We are a merit-based country again. The audio cuts out here. Recruiting shortfalls. Just last year was the worst of all. The last year of the Biden administration, we could not get anybody to join our military. We could not get anybody to join our police and firefighters. We could not get anybody to join anything. Right now, just less than a year later, we just set a brand new peacetime recruiting record. The most people joined. We are brimming. Be careful, somebody will try to take your job. We are brimming with confidence and brimming with people. We had the best recruiting month we have had in memory. Nobody remembers anything like it. That is all because they have spirit now. They have a spirit for our country. Now everybody wants to be doing what you are doing. Think of that. It is really a great honor. I'm pleased to report by next week, the Army is expected to surpass its recruiting targets for the entire year. Expected to surpass its recruiting target for the entire year. That is pretty good. It is nice to know you are doing something everybody wants to do, isn't it? During the campaign, I was hearing we could not get people to enlist. It is sad because we are telling so many people, I'm sorry, my administration is doing everything possible to forge the most powerful military ever built. Ultimately, the task of keeping America strong and safe in the years ahead is going to belong to you. Among you are the lieutenants, majors, colonels, and generals who will lead the Army for the next 10, 20, 30, and even 40 years. As Commander-in-Chief, let me offer a few words of advice as you begin your Army careers. I thought I would do this. I can make this to a civilian audience or a military audience. It's pretty much the same. I did this recently at Ohio State. They really liked it. I gave them a little advice as to what I see for what you want to do. Some tips. First of all, you have already done it different from civilians. They are making the decisions right now. You have made your decision. I love your decision. You have to do what you love. You have to do what you love. If you don't love it, you will never be successful at it. You have done this, and many of you in the audience, many that are graduating, you come from military backgrounds or you love the military. It is what you want to do and talk about. One thing I see about people that love the military, that is all they want to talk about. I will be out to dinner. Generals, if they love their jobs, the only good ones are the ones that want to talk about it all the time. If they talk, that is what they want to talk about. I very rarely see somebody who is successful that doesn't love what he or she does. You have to love what you do. In your case, the military is what you chose. You cannot go wrong. You will see it. You will love it more and more with time. I work all the time. That is alleged work. Whether it is, that is all I do, work. Whether it's politically, I was a very good businessman once, in case you haven't heard. I was good because I loved it. I loved it. I learned from my father a little bit. My father was a happy guy. All he did was work. He worked Saturdays, Sundays. He would work all the time. He was a happy guy. Just love the life. I learned that, it makes them happy. I have seen other people that never work and they are not happy. You have to love it, otherwise you will not be successful in the army. There are a lot of different paths you can take. Follow your instincts and make sure you take the path you love, that you are doing something you love within your military. You will be happier in the army, and the army will be far stronger for it. Second is think big. Always think big. If you are going to do something, you might as well think big. Do it big. It is just as tough, and sometimes it's a lot easier thinking big than doing small tasks that are more difficult. One of your greatest graduates, General Eisenhower, he used to say, "Whenever I run into a problem that I cannot solve, I always like to make it bigger to solve it and solve more of it." If you're going to solve a problem, it might as well be a big problem as opposed to a small problem that lots of people can take advantage of. You can achieve something amazing. Think big. The third, you have to do this. Brain power. You have to have potential. You have to be really successful. You are always going to have to work hard. An example is a great athlete, Gary Player, great golfer. He was not as big as the other men that were playing against him. Big, strong guys. Gary was a smaller guy. He was a friend of mine. He gets a little angry at people. He hits the ball just as far. He said, "I hit the ball further than them. Why am I small?" But he worked very, very hard. He was always doing exercise. He was well ahead of his time. He never stopped. He won 168 golf tournaments, 18 majors, 9 regular, and 9 on the senior tour, 18 with 168, the most tournaments internationally anybody has ever won. He made a statement years ago. When I heard it, he's the first one, I think I heard it. He was the first. He said, "It's funny. The harder I work, the luckier I get." I think of that. The harder I work, the luckier I get. He worked hard. You are working hard. The harder you work, the luckier you are going to get. The fourth is, don't lose your momentum. Momentum is a great thing. Keep it going. I tell a story sometimes about a man who was a great, great real estate man. He was a man who was admired for real estate all over the world, actually, all over the country. He built Levittown. He started as a man who built 1 house, then 2, then 5, then he built 20, he built 1,000, then he built 2,000 and 3,000 a year. He got very big. He was great at what he did. You see him all over the country still, Levittowns. This was a long time ago. He was the first of the really, really big home builders. He became very rich, a very rich man. Then he decided to sell. He was offered a lot of money by a big conglomerate, Gulf and Western. Gulf and Western. They saw the money he was making. They gave him a lot of money, tremendous amount of money, more money than he thought he would get. He sold his company and he had nothing to do. He ended up getting a divorce. Found the new wife. Can you say a trophy wife? It didn't work out too well. That doesn't work out too well, I must tell you. Trophy wives. It made him happy for a little while at least. He found a new wife. He sold his little boat and got a big yacht. He had one of the biggest yachts anywhere in the world. He moved to Monte Carlo and led the good life. Time went by and he got bored, and he got bored. 15 years later, the company he sold to called him. They said the housing business is not for us. You have to understand, when Bill Levitt was hot, he had momentum, he would go to the job sites every night and take up every loose nail. He would pick up every scrap of wood. If there was a bolt or screw laying on the ground, he would pick it up and use it the next day putting together a house. Now he was spoiled and rich. He was really rich. They called and said, "This is not for us, this business. Would you like to buy it back? We will sell it back to you cheap." He bought it. He bought it. He thought he made a great deal. He was all excited. It was 15 years later. He lost a lot of momentum. Remember the word momentum. He lost everything. It just didn't work. I was sitting at a party on 5th Avenue one night a long time ago. The biggest people in New York, the biggest people in the country were all at that party and saluting each other, how great they were. They were telling each other how great, "I'm greater than you." It gives you a headache sometimes. They had all these people telling their own stories about how fantastic, a cocktail party. I looked over and I was doing well. I was invited to the party, so I had to be doing well. I was very, very young. I made a name in real estate. I looked over at the party, sitting in a corner all by himself, nobody talking to him, was Mr. Levitt. He had just gone bankrupt and lost everything. He lost everything. His home, everything. I went over and I talked to him. He was in the real estate business, and I loved real estate. I said, "Hello, Mr. Levitt, how are you?" He said, "Hello, Donald, nice to meet you." He knew me from being in the business. "How's it going?" "Not well. Really not well, as you've probably read." "It's been very tough for me." I said, "What happened? Anything you can do?" "No, there's not a thing I can do." He said, "I will never forget. I have lost my momentum. I just didn't have it. I used to have it, but I lost my momentum." It is a story I tell. You have to know when you have momentum. Sometimes you also have to know when you've lost the momentum. Leaving a field sometimes, leaving what you are doing sometimes is okay. You have to have momentum. You have to know that momentum is gone. You have to know when to say it's time to get out. It's a very sad story. I remember that story so well, like it was yesterday. Fifth, you have to have the courage to take risks and do things differently. Eisenhower, again, was threatened with court-martials as a young officer for advocating a new doctrine of tank warfare. Billy Mitchell was thrown out of the Army for pioneering the use of air power. What do you mean, air power? Don't be ridiculous. People willing to try and do things differently. It will never be easy for them, but they are the ones that are really going to do the important things. They will make history. Don't be ashamed and don't be afraid. This is a time of incredible change. We do not need an officer corps of careerists and yes men and people that want to keep it going because it changes rapidly, especially with what you're doing. You are a business, and in a business and profession where things change rapidly, like warfare, the type of warfare, unfortunately, we are getting to see it with Russia and Ukraine, and we are studying it, and it is a very terrible thing to study, but we are seeing the different forms of warfare. We are seeing the drones coming in and down at angles with speed and precision. We've never seen anything like it. Never seen anything like it, and we are learning from it. But your profession changes very rapidly. You've got to be at the top of it. You've got to be right at the head of the needle. We need patriots with guts and vision and backbone who take personal risks to ensure that America wins every single time. We want to win our battles. I defeated ISIS in 3 weeks. They told me it would take 5 years. The general that did it, you know that story, was Raising Cain. His name was Dan Cain. His nickname was Raising Cain. I said, "Your name is Raising Cain? I love that. Is that the name?" "That's what they call me, sir." "I love you, General. I want to know a guy called Raising Cain. He's the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and a highly respected man." ISIS, they said, "How long in Washington?" "Sir, it will take 4 years to defeat them, maybe 5. And maybe we won't because they are all over the place." Then I met a man who said we could do it in 3 weeks, and he did it in 3 weeks. That's why he's the head of the Chiefs of Staff right now. We've done things that no one thought was possible. We've had great military success. When you have the right people and the right leader, we have the right people. We will have tremendous success. Never lose your faith in America and the American people because they will always be there for you. I went through a very tough time with some very radicalized, sick people, and I say I was investigated more than the great late Alphonse Capone. Alphonse Capone was a monster. He was a very hardened criminal. I went through more investigations than Alphonse Capone. Now I am talking to you as president. Can you believe this? Can you believe it? Can you believe this? Can you believe it? You have to fight hard, never give up, and never let bad people keep you down. You have to take them down. There are a lot of bad people out there. You have to figure it out. There are a lot of great people.